Welcome to Power Your Profits podcast, your friendly guide in bringing your business revenue to the next level. Listen as host Susie Carter hears inspiring stories of success from her fellow entrepreneurs and transformational leaders. Prepare to make significant change to your strategies as they unravel the secrets of building multi-million-dollar businesses and the most effective tips on finance, marketing, and sales accountability. If you want to make your first step towards explosive business growth, this is the right podcast for you. Without further ado, here is your host, Susie.
Welcome to Power Your Profit podcast. I am your host, Susie Carter, your profit coach, and I am excited for our next guest. She is one of my students, as well as I'm one of her clients. Maruxa Murphy is known as the community maven. Why? Because she helps us monetize, grow our Facebook groups and other online communities. She has a gift and a talent to turn online communities, listen to this, to 6- and 7-figure revenue streams. She's a community architect, right? An instigator of hundreds of change makers in communities all over the world. She blends people, purpose, profit, into one another. She has been the advisor on nonprofits and startups and impact change maker communities and organizations to grow their experiences and build long-term and short-term cultures and brands. She's helped dozens of brands turn their communities from flailing to fierce in just a few months and onward. So please welcome my guest, Maruxa Murphy. So welcome back to Power Your Profit podcast. I am with one of my clients and I'm one of her clients. This is a love connection because here's what I know. We all have this thing that we all have and we all have to manage, and none of us know how to manage it. So if you want to know what that is, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's how do we monetize our Facebook groups and other online communities. Maruxa, welcome to the show. I can't wait for you to drop your diamonds because this is one of those things that we all know we need and nobody knows how to do it. So welcome.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Susie, I love you. And I am so glad to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful to be here with you today.
I'm so grateful you're here. So talk about who you serve. I want you to share your badass list because we did your official bio, but you are such what I love about my community of the women that I've accumulated, because I feel like I'm accumulating women all over the world, right? Who love what they do, have a heart for the client. It's not just about money and monetizing. Yeah. So tell everybody who you serve and what your magic is.
Sure. So who do I serve? I serve the rebels. I serve the innovators. I serve the people that know that there is something that needs to be served in this world in a powerful way. And they're finally ready to say, heck yes, I'm going to go do that. And so some of my clients right now include Jaya and Ian. They are from the Erotic Blueprint. They just actually launched a Netflix show not too long ago called Sex, Love, and Goop with Gwyneth Paltrow. That's one of our clients. Susie Carter is one of my amazing clients I love. We work with we're helping design in the travel industry, an incredible model that has never really been done in designing communities, local community, like partnerships with local communities and the resorts, and then having a virtual piece to that too. And it's really, really being fun. So it's so much fun to design in that way. So I look for companies that are ready to not just only talk about the great message that they have, but do something in a fun way to bring those people together in community. And then to create additional 6- and 7-figure revenue streams on the back end of designing out these communities. And I think that's really where my magic is. A client of mine recently asked John Howard he's a marriage and family therapist. He's one of my clients and he's about to launch one of his books. And he said, Maruxa, holy crap, your magic, because we're designing his community around his book that's about to launch. And he said, your magic, I'm seeing that it's not just, oh, kumbaya, let's all hold hands and build a community together, but It really is, there's like a science to it. There's processes to it. There's data that we look at, and then we design it with the art in mind, and then the essence of the person, of the visionary and the brand experience that we're building in. So it's the art, science, and essence is how we design out these communities. And so that makes every one of them super unique, even though we're following proven systems and processes in the process.
Well, that's why I fell in love with you. Like our first call was, she was bringing out this whole dashboard. I'm like, oh my God, I have a girl crush. She's got a dashboard. She's got a dashboard and spreadsheets. we just make stuff up in business. And when you have the analytics behind it, you could really see why am I doing what I'm doing, which then makes me want to do it more. Right.
Yeah,
So what do you think
exactly.
is the biggest mistake we make in managing groups?
I know 100%. The biggest one is that we hit that button, create group, because someone told us that we should have a Facebook group or we should have a community. Like that is the biggest mistake. And if you're watching or listening right now and you've done that, like you're not alone. This is where 98% of us have started, with communities and building out a community for our programs or to drive potential prospects to our to what we're building, our services or our products. And what I would encourage instead of doing that is to realize that the pathway to building a community really has to start with the starting line, right? And so if you imagine for a minute, or you can write this down, the mantra that I make sure every one of my clients recognizes and knows is to slow down to grow fast. If we just take some slow down time at the beginning of building out your community, your online group, your Facebook group, to really think clearly about why are you doing this in the first place? What is the energy or the vibe that you want to bring into that community? What values do you have? And what's the value of that community to the people that are going to be a part of that? Man, you're going to be in a much better position to design out the community intentionally than just hitting create group. We should put a picture of my logo here and then put some content up, right? That's often where we start, but we don't have to do that. And that's really where, after having created, being 22 years in developing communities and 12 years specifically creating online groups like Facebook groups, and have built over 100 communities that have created 6- and 7-figure revenue streams for my clients, it really is about slowing down to grow fast. And I highly suggest that each of us focuses in our communities that way. Or if you're in the community and you've already hit the create group and you've already started, to take a minute, pause, and just backtrack a minute and build it in a way that feels really aligned for you instead.
And I feel like you're busting me because that's what we did. And when I came to you, I was really transparent because you said, what was your goal with the group? I don't know. They said I needed it. And whoever they are, I was just really vulnerable. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then she's like, we should be making money. And I want you to hear that little caveat because she said 6- and 7-figure revenue streams from your private Facebook groups. Like that changed my thinking of it. It was a big to-do before. And now it's how do we serve? How do we serve? Right, really monetizing the group, in a whole new way, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
And so what made you get into the community building? How did you start this piece of the business?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think there's 2 parts to it. Number one, it's been a part of my life's journey since birth. My mom is one of 11 kids. My dad's one of 6. I was raised by a village of people because my mom and dad, worked a lot. And I'm the second oldest of 39 grandkids just on my mom's side. And so I never knew what small family was like. I always knew what it was like to be around a ton of people. But I guess one of my roles in the family, if you will, was to bring the people together. And I really caught on that my grandmother was that person that really gathered us together. And she taught me so much, honestly, about inviting all of us into space in the midst of our differences, in the midst of us being, I have some really crazy family members, but even in that, we're all unconditionally loved and welcomed. And so I grew up in that space. And so I thought that everybody kind of had that same experience because naive Maruxa at 18 goes to college and it's like, yeah, everyone loves everyone, right? And then I get to college and I'm like, I know it sounds so funny, right? But I literally was in this land of positivity and everything is pretty good. Not that everything was, by the way, but I thought at that point it was. And I got to college and I realized quickly day one that it was not how the world really worked. Right. And I made a commitment at that point to look at how do we create and bridge connection in the midst of our differences? How do we choose love first, forgiveness, And so I started to build these into how I would show up as a leader on campus. I ended up creating some cool programs there, turned that into my first career, which was in leadership and identity development as the director of multicultural affairs for the university. But, doing it in a way that was building leaders, our next generation of leaders. I then moved all of that and went online in 2009 after I had my first daughter. And at that point I said, Maya, my daughter Maya, needed to have a mom that wasn't working 100 hours a week, like I was in this like dream career that I had. And so I created this intention. What can I do online that allows me to be in my own, be more in control of my time? And it just naturally led to designing out communities for companies and for authors, speakers, coaches that really wanted to talk to more people, but didn't know how to really bring them together. And over that time, I started to just kind of like stumble into building another community, and then another one, and another one. And I was like, there's a pattern here, huh? Like I'm this is
good at this thing. Really good at this.
Yeah. So really, and then over the last couple of years, truthfully, the pandemic hit. I started to recognize that we as a world did not know how to be in space and time virtually. And I've had now at that point over 100 clients, one-to-one clients, where I designed their communities for them. And what if I could teach this? And so COVID really helped me reconnect to what are my systems? What are my processes? How do I actually take everything that's been custom designed from my brain and put them into processes that more people can benefit from? And that was, soon after that, you and I met and you were like, wait, what? There's processes. and we started to, bring that into your community and whatnot. But yeah, that's really where it started and how it's evolved. And now, those are the, clients that we serve.
What I love is you really just monetize your natural gift, right? You said, I naturally do this, know, and I think as entrepreneurs, we forget to find the need, fill the need, find the need, fill the need, but the need that fills you with purpose, the need that fills you with joy, the need that fills you with, what is that thing I'm passionate about, right? Talk about, find that thing that people are always asking your opinion about, and then let's monetize that. Right, which is what you did from an early age, just going, I'm good at this thing called building community. I'm good at this thing called bringing cultures together and crazy people together and fun people together. It's not on purpose. And I love that you brought up the pandemic, because it's either shut people down or force people to grow, right? Because of the isolation. And so what's been your secret sauce during the pandemic to keep you in action and keep you growing?
I mean, my number one secret sauce that's been keeping me in action is you and the community that we have. I mean, as you mentioned at the beginning, like I am one of your clients, and there was a point recently, right? You were like, where is Maruxa? You are hiding. And I think because when things get hard, there are moments in any of our businesses where things get hard. And my MO is, to be on and to be that beam of hope and light to those who are around me, which is just how I'm wired. But that also means the shadow of that is if I'm not in a place of feeling inspired, I can easily hide. And so you have been such a gift to me. You and the team say, hey, how you doing? How's it going? Where are you? What's up? I see you. You think you're hiding, but you're not. You don't hide very well. So that has been a massive support. And honestly, I think, this COVID time has been not just a pandemic of COVID, but it has been the pandemic of isolation. For so many of us, and therefore depression, anxiety, substance abuse, all of that has gone massively up in numbers. And that's really what I'm here to combat against, because we don't need to be in that hiding spot.
No, I love that you said your shadow side, right? Because I think that is leadership, that is business, that other side always pops up. And to go, how am I who's coaching me out of that, right? Because we're all leaders,
Yeah.
right? And the program you're in is our global leadership. And so we are all leaders, and that's what, if it walks like a duck, walks like a duck, it's a duck. I'm like, she is just being a duck, but doesn't know we're ducks too, right? We're the eagles, but you know what I'm saying? Is to go, oh, okay, I see you. And that's the power of a really good community, which is why I love what you do. And we call you the community maven, right? Because you're just a master at that. And so with that, right, you're having your own biggest business challenges. Some people call them failure, right? Some people call them challenges. I call them the cosmic boot, because the cosmic boot usually kicks me in the booty that has me hate going through it. But on the other side, I learned so much. So what's been your biggest failure or your biggest challenge? And then what you learned from it as an entrepreneur?
I love this question. And I love that you're bringing this here to the show, because I think, gosh, I wish I knew that more people were going through this in my own journey of entrepreneurship. So I think for me, my biggest challenge has been, I think it's a twofold one. One was I have such a hard time sometimes saying, no, this is not working, letting team members go that just aren't really supporting the growth of the company. And because I see the best in everybody, I really do. And that is, again, that's that's a strength of mine. The shadow is, I don't ever want anyone to feel bad that I see something that's not great about them for the growth of our company, right? In that case. And so there was a situation where I was holding on very tightly to a couple team members that were really draining us. And I think draining us both financially, but also draining us emotionally and energetically. And so that was a big lesson for me, which also then tied into how I was showing up on the sales process. And, how many leads do we need to have coming in on a regular basis to then, make sure that you have sales on a consistent basis. Right. And so when those two things were in a dance with one another, I found myself in this place of like, what do I do with this? How do I grow and move forward? And I think a big part of it was a conversation you and I had about this. Like, you called it out and you said this needs to be cut out. But it did. It took me a couple months to finally say, okay, fine, I need to do this. I have to wear my big girl pants right now and do the thing.
Right.
And that was the big lesson, is I don't have to wait so long until that happens. I have to just trust instinct, my intuition, and make that choice, so that we can move beyond that and actually correct our movement at that point.
Yeah, I see that's one of the biggest challenges entrepreneurs have, right? Is we hire fast, fire slow, and it's actually the reverse. You want to hire slow, fire fast. Yeah. And because we're servant leaders, it's like, I don't want to hurt their feelings, and they'll get it. Maybe it's me. I need to train them, right? Which there is that part, right? I use the CAT system: clarity, accountability, and training. If I was clear on my expectation and I held you accountable and I trained you, then it's not my issue, it's yours. But if I answer no to any of those, was I clear? No. Did I hold them accountable? No. Did I train them? No. Then it's my responsibility. Yeah. Right. So it just taught me to have this discernment to go, no, this isn't us or our culture. This is you, and we're having the same conversation over and over and over again. Yeah. And what I was sharing with you, and what entrepreneurs need to know, is you will outgrow your team faster than they will outgrow you, because we are hard chargers, right? We have big goals, we're playing, we're risking, and the normal person doesn't risk like we risk. Like, it's just, we're kooky and designed crazy like that. We just risk and go, okay, I'm gonna put it all on the table and see what happens. And the average person needs safety and security and belonging, and we need that, but that's not our primary motivation. Our primary motivation is service, grow, game changer, right? Revolutionize, right? The community maven, like, that's a declaration. It's not a job title, right? Right on. So I think when we realize that as leaders, it gives us like, oh, okay. So again, I'm a systems girl because I am creative. So I just go to that CAT method. Okay, then it's them, not me, because that's always hard, right? And I'm proud of you for letting them go. And as a result of that, you close some huge accounts,
Huge accounts. Oh my gosh. The week
Huge.
after, literally the week after, I closed my largest account, which is like a 3-year contract,
I
multiple
know
six
the high
figures.
six-figure account. So I want to say,
Yeah.
I want to boast on you, right? Because again, we're shy and we don't say that.
Uh,
Oh, like that's the degree of your integrity is to the degree of your aliveness. You were so out of integrity with your value system that you couldn't close. And then once you got integrity with it, it was like, what happened?
yes, exactly. And there was like, yeah, I mean, it was like this huge account that is changing their industry. And then the next one, that literally right after that, in the next hour, I closed the second largest children's book publishing company. And then we closed a Netflix special, right? And then we closed another media company. I mean, I was like, wait, pinch? Like I'm pinching
Right.
is this real? Like, what's
And
just
game changers are
happening?
saying, you're the one everyone's talking about. Like, what,
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. And so it you know, and so I had to sit with that too, that from a leadership perspective, like, okay, am I willing to not self-sabotage anymore? Right. Like
Yeah.
I saw that this me slowing, you know, firing slow was a self-sabotage move because I didn't know if I was going to be ready to take on these opportunities. And so I had to sit with that, like, oh my gosh, what if these clients have been wanting to, or more of these types of clients have been wanting to work with me for the last 3-4 months?
Right.
What did I just miss out on by not making a more powerful yes initially, you know, or a more powerful, I guess, no to letting
Yeah.
those team members go.
That's
Yeah.
juicy. There are some diamonds in that one right there. So if you could be remembered for anything, what do you want to be remembered for?
Oh gosh, that's a good question. If I were to be remembered for anything, I'd love to be remembered by my children as a woman and a mother who never gave in to her fear, but really kept charging beyond to see what else is possible, to see that there's more than often what meets the eye, and to lead from this place of bravery that defies expectations. I want to be known for that. That sounds fun.
That is fun. Well, I love that. I love that you bring your family into it because a lot of times we feel torn and we have to choose.
Yeah.
And what I learned early on, it was about quality of time with my children, not the quantity of time. And to make sure that every time I had with them, it was quality. And so who they are in the world, like I get a fast forward, you know, my children are 35 and 32. Fast forward of that decision of what you're just declaring, who my daughters are these amazing, brave women that inspire me. And they're like, Mom, we're this way because we watched you. I'm like, I know, but I wasn't that way that young. When I look back to go, oh, it worked. Like, phew, it worked. Because you don't know as a mom or a parent, like, is this working? You know, are they going to be in therapy forever? Because I wasn't there at every baseball game or soccer game or basketball game or whatever game they had. Right. I don't know where baseball came from, but they did soccer or basketball, right? In track. So I love that. And I love just the bold declaration that we can have it the way we want it. Right. And not sacrifice. Right.
Not sacrifice.
Yeah. I was born in a generation that you could bring home the bacon fried up in a pan, never let you forget you're a man. You know, that was our little mantra. And to go, wait a minute, I don't want to have to fry it up in the pan every night. I want to be able to be with my kids, but not all the time. I wasn't that kind of mom. Right now, there are some that are. And my kids' babysitter said, Susie, there's 2 types of women in the world: women like you who love to work, and women like me who love to care and provide. And you give me life and I give you life. Like, oh my God, I love you. Thank you.
That's awesome. What a great reframe too, right? Like that's important to pay attention to. I think for me, that's definitely something, and you know, my kids are 13, 8, and 7 at this point, and there is that mom guilt for sure. So I appreciate that, what you just shared, because there is that mom guilt of like, yeah, but I have to go on this other business trip, but my babies I know are going to miss me, and but then when I'm there, I'm like fully alive in my work. Like I feel like I'm on fire as the person that I am, the woman that I am. And so my hope is exactly that. Like my children get to see that this is how they can be as well. They can be on fire with the work that they do, whether it's staying home and being present with the nurturing and the caregiving, or it's going forward and building a company or something in between.
Right. I see that holistic success for you because you are a loving mom. You are like, I love watching your TikToks. I love watching, like, I spy on you on Instagram, right? To just see you as mom, because I know you as a businesswoman, and to see you as mom and wife, right? And loving on your husband, and you guys are still together. And, you know, so I think the world needs to see us that as well, right? Same with men, because I love when men edify their wives or women or girlfriends, whatever they are, versus you know, the stereotype of whatever people say is that makes my heart so happy when your man honors you and their family. It's like, oh, I love that. Like, that can happen. You know,
it can happen. And it's a work in progress, right? Like they have to choose their to break out of some stereotype stuff as well. But man, it is, I feel really lucky and are grateful, I should say, in that way, that he's willing to do the hard work to see that his wife loves to build businesses. You know, it's kind of,
and the harder you work, the luckier you get. That's just how it works.
Yeah, that's true.
So what's one question you wish I would have asked you? And it could be about community building. It could be about what you do. It could be, what's one question you wish I would have asked you?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Oh man, that's a hard one, Susie. I would say, well, the first one came to mind was, why does everybody need Susie Carter in their lives?
And how would you answer that? Why does everybody need Susie Carter?
Honestly, I mean, whenever I have anybody that comes into my life that's looking for someone who can catapult their mindset and their systems and their way in which they're looking at business, what lens they're coming in to look at business, I think of you 100% of the time. Because I think, you know, you and I met obviously in a different way through a referral and, you know, as a client, but then I got to go to your event and I got to spend time at one of your 3-day events back in February of last year. And I was just in awe of how you held space for every single person in that experience. And you genuinely care about everybody that's in that room. And you made sure that the systems to run the event were so that you could be present with everybody in the room. There's like you know, for those who've never been to a Susie event, there was like 100, 200 people there. And so the fact that you could hold that space and have a team that holds space alongside you was so beautiful to watch and inspiring to me. And I think for those who want to create more impact in the world, with our gifts and our talents, it's like a no-brainer to me to work with Susie. And so, that was the question that I'm glad to answer.
Is that event was virtual, so we weren't even live.
Yes, so we weren't even live.
That's a huge system, right? Because again, yes, I'm a great speaker, which I learned systematically, right, to be able to move a room, but that was virtual. So just like creating communities in your Facebook group, you can make that kind of impact and not be physically in front of people. I think that's what attracted me to you, was like, well, what do we do with this group? I mean, we had, I don't know, how many people started, like it was a simple little group, and I'm like, you can't do that in a Facebook group, because of course we've had them before, and you're like, no, we can. What you do at your events is the same thing we're doing in this group. I'm like, like such a mind blow and such an opportunity. So I love that, and I love that we have girl crush on each other. I just want to say that out loud, but for good reason. We both help each other produce results, which is amazing. And so I want you to have a girl crush on her as well. So you have a free gift for us, right?
I do.
I love this gift. Can I just say, this is one of my favorite gifts, because I like the it. I don't want the idea about it. I don't want you to go tell me I need to do it. Give me the it. Right. So what is the it you're giving us? You are going to have a girl crush on Maruxa as well.
So, you know, I love that you call it the it, because philosophy and theory are great, but when you're at a point in building a Facebook group and you say to yourself, yes, I'm going to do it, I have the vision, I have all of that, and then you go to write your first words in your group, you're like, wait, what? What? And your eyes kind of glaze over and you have no idea what to write. Well, my free gift is to solve that for you. So you don't have to think about that so hard anymore. In fact, I give you not just 300 what I call content prompts, so you know what to write in there. I also give you just a short training, but a training that will help you see how to use this win-win think process in a very systematic way to design out your content. And even if you are not necessarily at your computer every single day in your group, you can have content going out on your behalf every single day. So I teach you that process in this free gift.
And it's such a juicy process, right? The win-win-win. Love the win-win-win.
Win-win-win.
Thank you so much. And so people can find you on Facebook, Instagram,
Yes.
right? So her name is spelled Maruxa.
XA.
I had a hard time in the beginning, right? Murphy. And so is it under that, or is it in Create Impact Cells? What's our Facebook group? So
yeah, great. So yeah, Maruxa Murphy, you can look at me. I'm the only Maruxa Murphy out there that I know of. So feel free to look that up. But you can also join our Facebook group, which is where we talk about, it's a free group to join. And it's where we talk about how to create profitable Facebook groups. So you can look that up as Grow and Monetize Your Groups on Facebook. But if you go to my profile, I'll have a link there as well to that group.
Of course you do. Of course you do. Speed of leaders. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your generosity in time and generosity in spirit and the love that you bring to work and play. I appreciate who you are as a businesswoman, as a mom, and as a beautiful wife. And I so appreciate doing business together. I love and adore you.
I appreciate you so much, Susie. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Power Your Profits podcast. Let these building blocks from today's most successful industry leaders equip you with the necessary resources and tools to finally establish the highly profitable business of your dreams. Want to hear more? Listen to more episodes at https://poweryourprofitspodcast.com. And don't forget to subscribe to the show. Now is your time to rise to the top of your game, so be sure to catch our next episode. Until next time.